Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tuber. Welcome back. It is your 5th DC Stargirl Season 3 episode review. The mask is back. I forgot for the last 2 episode reviews because it was just I came back from vacation. You know, I don't even need to get into it. I just forgot. Let's just put it plain and simple there. This week we're back. We were off for a week, which was relatively preferred. I had a lot of things to do last week as well, especially with the return of the rookie as well as the start of the rookie feds. So I wanted to give those two some chance to breathe, and now we're officially in the. I can't believe we're finally here. It's the 5 reviews a week format that I've long spoken about since when we first got word of it back in June. And I was thinking to myself, oh, that's 3 months away. I'll just enjoy the summer, maybe do a couple reviews then and there. You know, I'll be fine. And this is the week. Yeah, we're in the week. Tomorrow we're doing Walker episode reviews again, and then on Saturdays we're gonna have Walker Independence episode reviews. So there's a lot of content coming out. You know, you're gonna have 5 What's in the Tubes almost every week, I believe, for the rest of the year. Like there'll of course be some off weeks for some shows, but other than that, yeah, you're getting 5 episode reviews a week, and that might increase depending on how the scheduling works out for next year for Nancy Drew and Perry Mason. So if I'm getting way too ahead of it, you only care about Stargirl. 2 weeks away, it felt longer. Definitely, like the weeks have felt long as hell. So I'm like, I kind of had to be, the recap helped a little bit because like, okay, what exactly was going on in Stargirl before we went on that little short break, but we got back into it. So we pick up right where we left off from last week. Courtney and what's his name? It's not Cameron. Is it Cameron? Yeah, it's Cameron. They're wrapping up their first mini day / their first kiss, and Courtney's head over here is in love. Like, you know, she had her, presumably, like the way she's acting throughout this entire episode, it's her first kiss, and she really wants to help Cameron try to control his new powers. And, you know, Cameron's, you know, just happy that he has someone finally, you know, that the last whole season he kind of was alone because Courtney had to stay distant with everything going on with Eclipso and such, and she couldn't really help him at the moment since it was all still so fresh, the whole incident with the ISA. But now he's happy, like, you know, that he has someone to depend on, to lean on. And yeah, it's the honeymoon stage of any. I wouldn't say they're in a relationship yet, but definitely they're aware, like, yeah, we definitely have feelings for each other. You know, whether or not they're going to call each other boyfriend or girlfriend yet is still up in the air right now. But, you know, they're still very much interested, and they're very much, you know, getting close. They kiss again before Courtney heads back inside, and Pat's there waiting for her. And initially I thought we were going to get the classic dad talk with Pat. He was like, finally, we're going to get that, like the one thing I've been waiting for Stargirl. But no, he's blissfully unaware of it. He was just there just to let her know that, yeah, Starman and Yolanda and Rick went off to go investigate the Dragon King's underground tunnels from the first season to go check in, and maybe he's still alive over there. Courtney's blissfully unaware of everything going on. She's just kind of focused on helping Cameron right now, and for good measure. But also, yeah, even already right away, Pat already notices that the change of demeanor, the change of tone about with her. And, you know, he's a little concerned because, like, this is not the Courtney we knew. Like, the Courtney from the last 2 seasons have always been a go-getter, already ready to, like, get to the next point in the mystery or the battle between good and evil. She's always like that, but not right now. She's, like, really not that interested in what's going on. And, you know, she heads downstairs to get some of the ISA files, specifically on Icicle, to see if she can find anything that might help Cameron with his development. Where do we go from there? We're at the Dragon King, like the former ISA headquarters. What was it? It says 2 weeks away, and I'm already forgetting names again. Cindy's trying to still hack the laptop for the last 4 weeks. Oh yeah, I forgot. The episode begins with like a Cindy perspective of how she discovered the gambler, where she went there. He was already dead, but she found the laptop, and then she picked up something. She got frozen for a while. That's when like kind of the mysterious sound plays, which is why Yolanda and the other kind of accuse her of being the killer. And that's kind of how we get caught up on things. But so she finally cracks the laptop using one of the gambler's tools, which I'm like, bro, you could have done this like 3 episodes ago, but whatever. It is what it is. She finally opens it, but she hears noises coming from above. It's Starman and the others. They're here to infiltrate, and they're looking around. There's nothing really for them to look at. However, when Sylvester looks at the ISA portrait, his angered side comes back around again because he thinks that the ASA is like they're responsible somehow for the entire thing, and that this is their final way of getting back at him, even from beyond the grave for most of them. And he is just not happy. He is not happy. And again, like, there's got to be an underlying cost to Sylvester's anger from his resurrection. There definitely has to be. Like, what that really is currently unclear, because the staff's supposed to be full of heart and joy and goodness. Like, so I don't know 100% certain if all this rage is coming from the staff itself or coming from something else. We don't know 100% yet, but we'll find out soon. He snaps. He basically destroys the portrait, while Yolanda and Rick kind of watch a little bit scared, like a little bit intimidated. Like, this is supposed to be their temporary leader, and it's not really. It's kind of like they miss Courtney for a bit. Later that night, I believe, yeah, Sylvester can't sleep. He's just struggling to sleep in bed, so he just starts doing some housework in the middle of the night. He wakes up Barbara. She goes to check in on him, and he's just expressing that he's like very unsure of himself right now. Like, he doesn't really know what the next step is for him, and he's still grasping with the terms of like potentially having to be like a parental figure to Courtney and the others, in a connecting factor, and he doesn't know if he's gonna be able to handle it. He doesn't know yet, and that is perfectly respectful. Sorry, I'm checking the computer for a second. It's totally fine, and he asks Barbara, "Well, how did you react when you had to be a stepmom to Mike, Pat's kid?" And she's like, "For all my life, I just thought that I wasn't ever going to get married again, that it was just going to be me and Courtney until she was in college. And then I met Pat, and then everything changed. And then once I met Mike, then yeah, he was my son. Like, for her, like, Mike is her son. And it's sweet that, that a step family can be that close, where, like, yeah, the other spouse's child is their own. Like, that says how close they are. And she wouldn't have it any other way. Like, she can't imagine her life without Pat or Mike, and, of how, important they've been to her. And she can't get rid of that, and that's all she has to say to Sylvester. Like, eventually, once you realize how important something is to you, you don't want to let it go. So Sylvester decided to take the entire night fixing up the entire house with his new organizational pattern, which honestly, I respect. I respect that a lot. To the point where Mike gets slightly annoyed about, like, the changing placement of his favorite Sugar Leaf cereal. Sylvester has a talk with him about, that they haven't really had that much interaction since he got over here, and he's just assuming that Mike doesn't like him since he hasn't really made an effort to, like, really reach out to him. And he's kind of has the point. They haven't really had any, like, one-on-one scenes yet. And, Sylvester's like, look, you're the one who actually killed Icicle on purpose or not. Like, you technically avenged my death. That makes us kind of connected in a way, that we're both go-getters, since he brings up the fact when he was his previous persona, the Star Spangled Kid, no one really took him seriously because he was just a kid. And it took him a lot of time for him to be admitted as, like, a true superhero. And that's kind of where Mike is right now. We're like, yeah, Mike's done some pretty cool things in the last couple of years, but it doesn't make him like a full member of the team. And no one's really considering him a full member of the team. Like, I think the only comparison I can make of it is when from Codename's Kid Next Door, if anyone remembers, number 2's brother. Like, he's done some cool things when he wasn't a K&D operative, but when it came time to actually be a K&D operative, no one really paid him much mind. Then again, he would always, like, make up things like the Tommy or something, which is, God, that was a pretty funny Batman, to be honest with you. The rest of the family shows up. They're ready to have some omelets for breakfast. Courtney's all happy-go-lucky, honeymoon, girlfriend mood. She's just ready to step out, even when Sylvester gives her an update about, like, hey, I got a lead on a potential Dragon King warehouse that maybe we could both check out after school. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna go do something else. You got this. You got this. Like, I'm good. And it's just funny because, like, everyone's just baffled. Like, this is not the Courtney we know. Like, she would have easily just said, fuck yeah, let's do this. Like, first thing after school, let's go. But no, she doesn't do that at all. We head over to the school where Mike tells his newfound advice to the new Thunderbolt, and that they should really step out of the comfort zone and try to make a moment where, like, they can finally be truly accepted as JSA members. Even though, again, literally the end of last season, he was like, we got to make our own team, like, the young JSA or something. That's already out the window already. He doesn't agree with him. He's like, nah, I'm fine in my comfort zone. Like, when we're called in, we're called in. But until then, like, I'm perfectly happy with my mundane, fresh high school life, and they're just getting bullied, and they managed to activate Thunderbolt to activate a spell to make the bullies nicer to them, which they are nicer to them. That doesn't mean they're gonna stop bullying them. There's a difference there. Again, I love the monkey's paw effect with this, with all washing things. Cindy goes in to beat up the bullies for some weird reason. Again, was it a sign they try and be nicer to the Whitmores? I don't know. Both of them are like, it has that weird romantic filter where like, it kind of assumes they fall in love with her, which I'm like, no, we're not doing that rabbit hole. No. I forget about that. Move on. I want to see what else is going on in the school. I'm pretty sure we're getting another scene in school before we get to like the first JSA meeting. Well, not the first, like just the main JSA meeting. No, actually not. No, not really. Sylvester in his Starman suit arrives in the area of the next Dragon King warehouse, and it's encrypted locked, so he can't really get in. He asks Beth to go hack it for him, and they have a really nice banter. You know, again, the benefit of bringing Sylvester in as like kind of this legacy character for our heroes to banter off of is that the fact that Sylvester will honestly make comparisons. Like this is like, you know, last episode we got him and Yolanda talking about like that you know, she and the original Wildcat would have gotten along, and it just seems like, yeah, in this episode, like, for them, they were like, oh, yeah, I totally understand why Dr. McKnight, like, retired, because you are a successor. You are a worthy successor, and it makes Beth happy. It really does, but she gets a little bit miffed at the fact that the goggles actually almost gave her the answers of the freaking math test, which is pretty funny. Yeah, so after that, he gets in. There really isn't nothing of substance. It just seems an experiment room, like, you know, just like very probably some creepy shit happened here. But that's all we figure out from then on. Courtney's in science class with Cindy, and this is where Courtney admits to Cindy, like, you know, of all people first, like, yeah, she has feelings for Cameron, and they're spending time together now, and, you know, it's kind of getting serious. And, you know, Cindy, and the only reason why she wants to tell Cindy is Cindy will be honest. She will not hide anything, because, yeah, they're friendly, let's say, but, you know, honestly, Cindy's just a very brutally honest person. Like, she does not care whatsoever, and she will admit what is right or wrong, and she's just like, yeah, I think you two will be cute together. Like, that's all. Like, you know, just be careful. Like, you know, that when it comes to like the broaching the subject of Cameron's father, like, you got to be careful. Like, you don't really want to destroy anyone's image of their parents, even with the hard facts, because it's kind of like that dream shattering, like the glass shattering moment. Like, you can't really look at them the same way when you come out of it, and that's kind of like something that Courtney has to keep an eye on, because not only does she have to be a good girlfriend to him, but also the fact that she's a superhero that kind of was responsible in a way for his dad's death. So kind of like that Spider-Man, like the Raimi Spider-Man conundrum from the first movies. So she tells him that. We cut over to the JSA meeting in the lunch table. Everyone's just talking about something related to the whole Dragon King related thing. Courtney is just blissfully just focusing on Cameron and trying to help him out with his with trying to figure out how for him to control his powers. And everyone's just calling out. Courtney's like, yo, you okay? Like, this is not you. Like, you never zone out during these meetings. And she's just trying to, like, you know, fake it, like saying like, oh yeah, we're fine. I'm fine. You know, we were talking about like letting Sylvester in. Like, no, that was weeks ago, bro. You remember the wrong episode here. And eventually she's about to admit, like, yeah, about the whole Cameron thing, but he shows up. He's just immediately just trying to be flirty, friendly with her, and, you know, he's trying to be nice with everyone else, but of course everyone's still under the mindset of, like, he is the son of Icicle, he is a potential threat, just stay away, and, you know, obviously he's still having that beef with Rick. Courtney tries to, like, downplay the situation. Cameron just takes the hint and leaves, even though thankfully, smart-wise, he does not blame Courtney for this. He just says to her, like, I'll be back later. I don't think they get to that point. Like, she doesn't admit to them that, like, yeah, she's having feelings for him, but, like, she is telling them, like, yeah, I'm helping him out. Like, you know, he is developing his powers, and, you know, that he needs my help. Like, you know, that's the most I can do for him right now. But they're just like, no, we have other things to worry about. We have a murder to solve. There's still a freaking enormous threat that killed the gambler and nearly killed Sylvester. That is first on our list. Even if we're taking Cindy as a potential threat out of sight, like, you know, that is a threat. And Courtney understands that, but Cameron needs her help. And to her point, not just on the girlfriend front, but, like, yeah, they kind of ignored Cameron all throughout season 2. Like, yeah, they were focusing all heads on an Eclipso, but they kind of let Cameron just stewed in his own darkness for a while. Like, he wasn't in much of season 2 at all. They kind of just sidelighted that storyline for season 3, which I do understand. Like, you want to, like, that's a pretty crucial story like you want to give more attention on. You just don't want to squeeze it into everyone else just to have everything be a very natural flow of continuity. But regardless of that, like, yeah, like she kind of owes it to him to like try and help him with his powers. And if the others aren't really seeing an eye to that, then she just dips and doesn't want to be around them right at the moment. Pat and Barbara have a little bit of like a diner lunch date between them. It's honestly pretty sweet. Like, the fact that, they just want to have some like one-on-one time. It's very rare we get to see these two like together interacting just like a married couple. Pat's still really concerned about the whole Courtney being a little distant thing. Barbara just said, yeah, she probably has a crush on someone. She's with someone right now. So, like, give her some space. Like, this is exactly what you wanted from season 2. Like, for her to have a normal life, to have some sort of focus on just being a normal teenage girl that isn't just saving the world. Which, again, this is exactly what everyone's been talking about. And now that now y'all complain about it. Like, come on. You either do it or you don't. You really have no other choice. But sadly, their lunch date is interrupted by the Crocs. And I'm just like... I'm starting to think the Crocs are the most cringiest part of the season. I'm sorry. Like, it's no offense to the actors. I think their only good moment for me was the whole fight scene with Starman earlier in the season. Like, I understand it's trying to be like a comedic relief for like just trying to have them, but like it's so forced and not forced, but like forced on their front to try and make this work. Like, yeah, Pat is probably decently acceptable of sportsman. I think Barbara has a shred of respect for Tigress. That doesn't mean they're all friends yet. And the Crocs are really taking it under the lieu of like, we are best friends now. Like, that's not how it works. It really isn't. And please stop. They're having a date. He even takes his fries. Like, don't take the fries, man. Especially don't take the fry. Okay, look, I'm a chill dude when it comes to my food. If you take my burger, fuck you. If you take my fries, fuck you. If you take my drink, okay, that's fine. But you don't take my food. You don't take someone else's food. And he's just trying to like still put in GM factor. I'm like, not now, just not now. But in all reality, the serious moment of this is that they apparently been just doing their own solo investigations for a while, just hunting down the remaining of the gamblers associates to see if they probably have anything to do with the murder. But no, apparently everyone has been paid off by the gambler. Like, all the debts, all the blackmail. Apparently, yeah, the gambler was on his way to change his mind and change his life, but then no, he died. Which I'm like, damn, that's pretty harsh still. And the fact that I'm very thankful, like, actually I'm a little bit too full, because like the idea of like the Crocs interrogating people all throughout the world or all throughout the United States is a funny plot line. If this was a longer season, I could imagine that being an episode, like just a Crocs episode. And I swear to God, if we get a Crocs episode at some point this season, I will legitimately take a frying pan and slap myself with it, because I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not dealing with that right now. This was funny enough. This is all we needed. Like, let's get in and move on. Let's get in and move on. We're back over at the JSA auto shop headquarters. I don't have an official name for them. Where Sylvester's leading the meeting about the others' dismay about Courtney focusing too much on Cameron. And, Sylvester agrees with them. Like, again, like, yeah, he is the son of Icicle, the leader of the ISA. Like, he is a legitimate threat with his powers. So Courtney needs to be away from him at all costs. So we need to focus on that. Also at this moment, they're just trying to figure out, like, okay, until we can get back on the investigation front, what else can we do as a team to kind of just like prevent any sort of like shortcomings that could lead to our destruction? Because the reason why the JSA fell apart and eventually was killed off was because of the whole Eclipso dilemma that led to them dividing. By the time they had to come back together to fight the ISA, they weren't at full capacity to do that, and Sylvester's trying to not let that happen to this team. So he's trying to, like, okay, what can we do to like independently grow ourselves? And Cindy, Yolanda's still on, like, Cindy's responsible somehow. We need to find out what she's doing. Rick's trying to fix the hourglass so he can like start fighting in full power again. And Bev still has that moral dilemma with her parents, because like her parents keep annoying her. And I swear to God, like, besides Pat and Barbara, every other parent in the show is annoying. They're really annoying. They're cringe. We don't need this. We really, really don't need this. But Bev just expresses, like, they're trying to be involved. They're trying to, like, try and be a part of the team. And now they want a mission. Like, what can we do to help the team out? Like, what can we really do? And Sylvester's just, like, he can speak from experience. Like, yeah, he's had some experience with his parents being involved in his conflicts, and it doesn't really end well. I mean, like all superhero tales, like, once you kind of go public with your identity, not in the wider scale of, like, the world or anything, but in the scale of, like, letting your loved ones know, like, hey, I'm doing this, you put them in danger because if your identity gets out and they find out like you have associations with them, they will use them as legitimate threats against you. And the other fact of that, they want to help you, but they put themselves in harm. We've seen that plenty of time in a lot of superhero mediums, of whether it's like, they're in the sidelines, but they get involved because the villain finds out about the person's true identity, or they want to help them out, but they get hurt along the way. We've seen plenty of that example. Beth doesn't want that to happen to her family because she cares about that. She loves them. Like, she's a loving person. All Sylvester has to say to her is that, you gotta be honest with them. Say, you gotta step away from this. Like, no matter how much, you gotta back away. You gotta like have that very tough discussion with them. That's all he says on the matter. Also, in the meantime, Cindy has a conversation with Cameron about, just his powers and, his recent growth to Courtney, and, that he needs to be very careful because, Courtney is sensitive, let's say that, and that there's a chance that Cameron may not have changed. And yeah, Cameron and them are Cameron and Cindy are definitely not friends. They're definitely very much going to have some sort of confrontation in the future, especially when Cameron was about to unleash his ice powers on her, but that would have ended pretty badly for one of them. So they decide there, but Cameron's like really not feeling it because besides Courtney right now, everything's still going for shit for him. So he's really not feeling 100% happy right now. So after that, we cut to the diner. Courtney's just drinking a milkshake to drown in her sorrows a little bit. Cindy shows up to let her know, like, yeah, I talked to Cameron on your behalf about the whole, like, just being careful with this. And of course, Courtney didn't want that. Like, she definitely didn't want that. And, again, Cindy's trying her best to help, but it's not the right way to help, if that makes any sort of sense. Anywho. I want to say, yeah, I think that's kind of where we just start dividing everything up that's going on right now with the plot. It's not an action-packed episode, to be honest with you. It's more like, this is all more about like character development and character growth and just seeing where the characters are going next. Rick is still working in the Hourglass. Sylvester shows up to go check in on him, and they're just having a talk about, Our Man, like, just trying to like cheer Rick up that like, just because you can't really figure this out right now doesn't mean you're stupid or anything. It's just that you just are a teenager still that has had little to no experience, while your dad has had a lifetime experience to develop this hourglass. So don't dismay. And the only advice you can give him, like, it's probably the limiter by this point. Like, if you fix everything else, it's probably the limiter, which is keeping the hour gap. And Rick has the idea, like, well, if we remove the limiter, does that mean I get unlimited strength all the time? And he's like, yeah, but there are some side effects to it, but I don't know what the side effects is, but there's a reason there's a limiter there, so it's on you by that point. But Rick gets some ideas in his head, so we'll come back to him later. Cindy heads back over to the Dragon King's second hideout. She's trying to look for something, and she's not really finding anything that's going to be useful to her front. Bev has that conversation with her folks about like them stepping away, them backing away, that basically stop calling me, get away from me, like, just do your lives as you were doing before you found that I was a superhero. That was better for now. And for this, it hurts a little bit. I can feel her pain because, like, if you remember back in season 1, all Beth wanted was a loving, happy family. And her parents were focused on their jobs, as they rightfully should. But at the end of the day, she wanted that happy family that was together for all the family meals, that were spending time together. And she never really got that. And then she did. But now it comes at the cost of, like, their safety. That if whatever the threat they're really fighting for right now, like, that could bring them into some sort of pain or something, and she doesn't want that. It hurts to send them away, but it's necessary to keep them safe. Yolanda says, finally, fuck it, and she decides to go over to Cindy's house, which, again, I'm pretty sure at some point the electricity company, the gas company, the freaking bank would probably wondering, how does a teenage girl live by herself in this place with no dad and no credible mom? Weird. She goes in, she starts looking for any sort of evidence to use against Cindy. She finds the laptop, and she knows, is like, finally, this is it. We're finally done with Cindy. This is going to be the accoutrement to her. Courtney spends time with Cameron. They're all flirty with each other, even while Courtney's trying to help him out, trying to figure out to control his powers. And, he's just like, she finds this ice retreat somewhere, and Cameron's already like, yeah, we should go someday. I'm like, bro, you both are high school students with no income to your name. What the hell you mean your parents are going to let you out to go on this trip? I tell you what, there's absolutely no way that's going to happen. But it's sweet. It's still sweet that, they're still nice to each other. They definitely do generally care about each other, even though it's coming at a little bit of a debatable price to some. Yeah, I think that was it. I really can't think of anything else that I missed. I think that was it. Like, yeah, the whole Yolanda finding out about the laptop thing was kind of like the closer for the episode. Oh yeah, I forgot. Rick removes the limiter from the hourglass, and he kind of has this like Super Saiyan glow where like he's getting all the power now, and it's like, yeah, there's no time limit. Like, there's definitely going to be some ramifications for his actions, but at this moment, he is basically a super powered hero all the time. So, how will that fare up? Hopefully, we'll find out next week. Because that was it for this week's episode. For me, I thought this was a really good episode. It definitely, as much as we didn't get much action in this, we didn't really get a big progression in the mystery. That's fine. Like, because at the end of the day, we don't need to. Like, all we're doing at this moment is just building out the characters, what their mind state is, and kind of like giving them their next natural conflict with the pieces they have in their puzzle. Courtney kind of falling head over heels over Cameron finally, even though he's developing some concerning powers. That is something to keep an eye out for. Yolanda really want to kick Cindy's ass? We're finally going to see that. Rick going Super Saiyan? That's going to be great. Beth saying goodbye to her parents? It hurts. It really, really does hurt. But there's still a lot of cards on the table. There really is. The Crocs still remain the cringiest part of the show. And I just literally roll my eyes every time I see them on this one. Again, no hate to the actors. No hate. It's just so crazy. Also, did everyone forget, like, Artemis was part of the show? Like, did everyone just forget Artemis was a character? Like, we just seen her in the premiere, and that's about it. Like, other than that, it's just been her parents. Did they just forget about Artemis? Hopefully they remember, because I remember. We want to see Artemis. For what reason? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, don't forget about Artemis. She's still one of your characters. But overall, for me, I thought this was a really good episode. I'm going to give this a thumb and a half a thumb and 3/4. It's not a perfect episode, but, definitely doesn't get the 2 thumbs, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of DC Stargirl? Let's have that conversation down below. Let's go started. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 3rd season of Stargirl. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Stargirl episode reviews, we're currently doing Walker episode reviews each and every week after Brand News is on the CW every Thursday night. We're also doing Walker Independence episode reviews each and every week after Brand New episode on the CW on Thursday nights as well. We're also doing the Rookie episode reviews each and every week after Brand News is on Sunday nights on ABC. And we're also doing the Rookie Feds episode reviews each and every week after Brand New episode on Tuesday nights on ABC as well. But if you don't care about Stargirl, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode for you. We're back to weekly. So yeah. Nothing more to say. Can't wait for more. I keep forgetting to research if this is going to be a 10-episode season or a 13-episode season. I completely forgot. Otherwise, we still got some episodes to go through. Definitely, this doesn't seem like the story's slowing down anytime soon. So we're still having fun here. We're still having overall fun with the season story. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode review is live. Please also like, favorite, share of this review if you want to, as well as ring that bell. Oh no, I follow social media to see if any sort of updates we may have for either of our channels. But until we see each other again, for all you members, for all you Stargirls out there, I'll see you all next week. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.